In each episode, we're gonna recap. It's Sailing All Blue with Xander and Matt. Sailing All Blue with Xander and Matt.
Welcome to Sailing All Blue, the podcast where we are setting sail into the world of One Piece. My name is Xander, and here with me is Kobe fanboy Matt. Matt, how are you doing today?
Doing fine. Am I officially a Kobe fanboy now?
I don't know. Are you?
I don't know. I guess I've read the chapters with him in it.
You have? Or are you a fan of Hemeplo? Hemeplo? I always
Helmeppo.
Helmeppo. Thank you. I always mispronounce his name.
The little kid who's like, I'll tell my daddy on you.
My dad owns a car dealership.
yeah, that kid. My dad has an axe for a hand. It's like I didn't think that was that impressive. Apparently it is.
So Matt, I'll let you do this. Tell our listeners what our format is going to be for this episode.
So for those of you who somehow got into this episode before episode 1, I've never read One Piece before. I've seen bits of the anime. I've been exposed to it through various memes and such, but I really I haven't read it, and I don't have a really good idea of what it actually is about. And of course, it's a big cultural juggernaut, so it's hard to not know that it exists. So Xander here, who loves One Piece, is having me, after having lost a bet, he's having me read through all of it and we're podcasting it as we go. So today my assignment was to read chapters 2 through 7, which Xander has called the Romance Dawn arc.
No, Romance Dawn is chapter 1.
Oh, what's this chapter? What's this arc?
This arc is. Hold on, give me a moment while I look it up.
We'll just fix it in post.
Yeah. We're pausing. Oh, it is Romance Dawn. You're fucking right. It is Romance Dawn.
Get wrecked.
Get wrecked, nerd.
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll cut it. It's like, yeah, it is Romance Dawn. That's right. You're right.
Yeah, so this Romance Dawn arc. So our format for these sections where I've been assigned more than a single chapter is we'll give a recap of the reading badly. So kind of what I remember happening while Xander corrects me, since he's read it, well, maybe not more recently, about 1 million more times, and has kind of context to go backwards. We're going to highlight certain scenes that we found important, and Xander will let me know what scenes I'm going to need to be thinking of for later. Foreshadowing. And then just kind of review reactions, thoughts, kind of how I felt about these chapters, how Xander thinks I should feel about these chapters. He loves them, so we already know how he feels.
I love them.
I'm actually right now I am still not sold on One Piece.
I can understand why, because I also am rereading it, right, alongside with you. I didn't realize how fast like the first dozen chapters are. I forgot how rapid fire they are. And I'm like, ooh.
So going into the recap, I guess, is Luffy had set sail on a little dinghy from where he started, whatever that first place was. Did we ever get a name for that place?
We did.
Luffy Home Island?
Luffy Home Island. No, I'm the worst One Piece fan. It's not important. Luffy Island.
It's Luffy Island. So Luffy has set sail from Luffy's home island to go out and be king of the pirates. So we start out where, oh no, there's a whirlpool and Luffy can't swim. We then
Fuchsia Village.
What village?
Fuchsia Village.
Fuchsia Village? What is this, Pokemon?
Fuchsia. Yeah, pretty much. Pokemon with devil fruits.
I gotta catch them all.
Sorry, continue.
So while Luffy's going into this whirlpool, we see this pirate ship with this dread pirate Alvida and cabin boy Kobe. Kobe goes down into the hold, finds a barrel. They get a bunch of barrels that are floating out in the sea, and turns out Luffy's inside one of them. And Luffy protects Kobe from the pirate Alvida, who it turns out is a woman with a giant mace. And Luffy is very very vocal about the fact that she is fat and ugly, which no one on the crew was allowed to say. And he punches her out, and he and Kobe leave.
Yeah.
They mentioned that she was originally afraid that he was a Roanoa Zolo, the dread pirate hunter. We have our first mention of him. And
So I noticed that that it's Zolo, and I'm like, in my brain I kept reading it as Zoro because he's Zoro. Don't you dare call him Solo.
Oh, I'm gonna keep saying Zolo. For those who are unaware, I'm using the official Viz translations that are on the Shonen Jump website. So those say Roanoa Zolo, so I'm saying Roanoa Zolo.
Oh, I'm so mad.
I know this is going to make you angry, and that's why I've decided to stick with it.
Oh, fucking fair. Soon you'll love One Piece and you'll be like, you know what? I regret it, Zoro.
I probably will. We'll probably be like 6 episodes from now, and I'll slip up and I'll say Zoro, and you'll be, ha! Got you.
You did it. Got you, bitch. Continue. Let's go.
So I would like to to say that in the second chapter we did see the same kind of like textured line work in not quite similar density to chapter 1, but it was still there. And there's this thing I'm going to start calling Oda Mouth, where there are these reactions where it's these soupy wide, teethy, jaw agape reactions.
Yeah,
so everyone does, and they're
everybody
quite
has
common.
everyone has very expressive faces, and they only get more exaggerated.
But here's the thing: it's the same expression, but just everyone does that same expression.
Oh yeah, I have. So when we get to the part in the story where these characters show up, I have a GIF of the people, like those mouths open, and it it zooms out, and more of those faces show up. Like, it's a really nice overlay. It's really good. I'll have to show it to you in like several years when you get to that arc.
Right.
But yeah, the Oda Mouth, very famous.
The Oda Mouth is a thing. It's already noticeable by chapter 2. The next couple of chapters I'm not really going to separate out by chapter anymore because that's just too slow.
Yeah. So I want to talk about chapter 2 because it is a story in of itself.
Yeah, it's kind of like a one chapter arc kind of deal.
Yeah, you've seen this in the anime though. You've seen this story just slightly different because you've seen some of the anime.
Yeah, I've seen about the first like 15 to 20 episodes of the anime, and then random other ones I've caught in the background, but not in any particular order. I have no idea how to place them or anything.
So I want to bring up, because rereading it, right? I reread One Piece fairly often, and the first up to when we meet Usopp, I keep forgetting how fast paced this was. And rereading this earlier today, I'm like, the whole Alvida thing was one chapter. I thought it was so much longer, and I'm thinking more so of the anime, because the anime I think does like the Alvida thing a little better. Honestly,
from what I understand, it added in Nami to Alvida stuff, and it had Alvida like attack a ship Nami was on. It added a lot of things to Alvida that aren't in the manga, from what I could see. Because like with this, it's just Alvida's there, but I remember Nami being there in the beginning, and I remember like more stuff happening. So clearly that didn't happen.
Yeah, but what are your thoughts on chapter 2? Because the next few chapters are a longer story, a little longer arc.
Yeah, we'll separate this into the just chapter 2 and then chapters 3 to 7, which I know seems kind of lopsided, but like you said, they're kind of two separate stories. It was just like an episodic episode of a typical shonen, which One Piece is, and that's not a dig at it. Especially since anything where it's like, oh, this is classic shonen, like The enemy shows up. He uses his special attack, Gum Gum Pistol. Enemy is defeated. We talk about that being like a tried and true shonen trope, but when One Piece was coming out all these years ago, that was just how things were done.
Yeah,
that was still
back in the 90s.
New and it was still a new and fresh paradigm and formula. It was okay to do that because you didn't have all these shonen out there who had already done it, and where people wanted more. Like it's fine for the first kind of baseline to be, hey, this is some random unpowered person out there that maybe other people are afraid of, but Luffy isn't, and Luffy has his special attack. So it kind of paints a bit of a baseline of Luffy isn't worried about normal enemies, really.
He's also just not worried about death. Like in the beginning, he's just like, oh, well, there's this whirlpool. I guess we're ending. Oh, yeah, well,
he's
this
very
is the
blunt
end.
to everyone. He's like, you're fat. And just straight up. And he does that a lot in this next arc, too.
Straight up. Because Alvida was like, who's the fairest in the land? And everyone's like, you are. Just shaking in their boots. I mean, she had a big, scary mace.
Yeah. So we've got Cabin Boy Kobe, who is now Luffy's cabin boy. But Kobe wants to be in the Navy. So that's a problem. But they go to the naval base to, I guess, drop off Kobe, and because Luffy's gotten in his head from hearing about Zolo that he's going to have Zolo join his pirate crew. Even though Zolo is a pirate hunter, he's like, I got to have this guy on my crew if he's a good guy. I'm going to see if he's a good guy first and then ask him to join. And then
you gotta have priorities. You gotta have a baseline. Like, are they cool? Are they crust and fresh?
Yeah, you gotta suss them out.
Yeah, you gotta see what they're all about.
So we get chapter 3, Enter Zolo, which I just found it funny that it gives like a bit of Zolo's background. Then we get the title card, Enter Zolo, and the picture of Zolo. For these next few chapters onward, there's again a noticeable drop in the amount of that line density that Oda was using to give texture, but there's still enough of it in like specific places, like especially on like close-ups of Zolo when he's on the cross, out when he's tied up out in the yard. We see it used to give texture. Like it's not really shading. There's not actually that much shading going on. It's a lot of texturing, which is just something I think artistically worth noting. They go into the town. They find Zolo. He's tied up. First they go to a restaurant, and everyone is both afraid of Zolo's name and Captain Morgan's name, the captain of the naval base here. They go to find Zolo. He's tied up. Some little kid is like, I'm going to give Zolo food because he was a nice guy. And then the captain's son, Helmeppo, shows up, who's like, you're not supposed to give people food, and Helmeppo is a dick to kids.
Yeah, just a little bit, or a lot of it.
Then we get the backstory. Zolo's a dick to dogs. Apparently he killed a dog. Like he killed Helmeppo's dog. So I kind of feel like this is almost justified. Like we've got a panel where it's Zolo with one sword. We only see one sword. He's got a sword in a bag. And he's killing Helmeppo's dog.
Well, the dog was attacking somebody, yeah?
Yeah, but still, he just killed a dog.
Look, I just want to forget about that, because I don't like the idea that Zoro killed a dog, because I love dogs too much.
Yeah, it's like the guy, remember, these are all criminals. But
yeah, they're pirates.
But Zolo thinks that if he's able to stay out with no last for like a month with no food, they're gonna let him go, and that's like the promise. And Helmeppo's like walking down the street, being all a dick, like, yes. Turns out we're gonna kill him in a couple days anyway. What a sucker! Which, I mean, they killed his dog, so I get it. But Luffy hears about this, goes, that's not honorable, because honor is an important pirate trait, but not an important Navy trait.
It's because it's a promise. So Luffy is
Yeah.
all about keeping promises, right? Like keeping your word.
Yeah. Well, he runs up and punches Helmeppo, and we get that beautiful Oda face with the mouth open. And everyone's like, oh no. And we get our first glimpse of Morgan, who's like, got the big cigar and everything. So Luffy goes back to Zolo, offers him a deal. If he unties him, Zolo will join. Zolo's like, no, I don't want to join you because you're a pirate. You know, it makes sense. Zolo's a pirate hunter. Luffy's a pirate. It's like peanut butter and rabies. You don't mix it.
That's extreme.
It just doesn't work out.
It doesn't.
But he likes his swords, so Luffy says he's going to steal the swords, and if Zolo wants his swords back, he'll have to join him. And for some reason, Zolo is like, deal. But he's pretty against still being a pirate. We then see the axe hand of Morgan, which he also has a metal mouthpiece that no one references. And I'm thinking back to I recently watched Cobra Kai on Netflix, and there's a guy who has like a lip problem, and everyone calls him Lip. So he gets a giant mohawk, and everyone then calls him Hawk. And it feels like that. It's like, maybe if I have a giant axe hand, no one will care about my braces. And to be fair, I guess it works.
I didn't even think about that. I just thought it was a very cool design. Very James Bond Moonraker. Is that the film? With
that Moonraker has jaws in it, yes.
Yeah.
The dude just has this massive like barren underbite mouthpiece, and it looks so cool. It's just never referenced. Nowhere in this arc does anyone say anything about his giant underbite thing.
I mean, he has a giant axe for a hand.
Yeah, and he's got some kind of growth coming out his elbow that like
it's part of the axe.
Yeah,
it's the handle.
Did he just shove an axe down there? Like what?
Yeah, he literally just shoved a giant axe into his arm and it just popped out his elbow. Because he grabs it as part of the attack. Like it's the handle. It's the brace, so he doesn't break his whole arm.
I guess
the real question is, how does he put his arm straight?
I mean, maybe he's a more complex character than we give him credit for. But he's also a dick. He's
a dick for sure.
He kills one of his men in a sequence that I still don't understand the physics of. One of his guys like talks back to him. He's like, "You're not allowed to do that." And the guy is facing him. Morgan yells mutiny, striking downward, and then the guy is bowed over and has a gash coming out, and he's lying face down dead with a gash on his back. But the guy was facing him. He had to have done like a jump up, like chop. The guy had to bow forward for this to work, and it at some point
don't worry about it. It's
okay.
The power of the axe. Okay, the power of the axe.
Guess
we've seen what that axe does later. how it chops through like an entire wall and fence super far away from him.
And they go, "Whoa, that's sharp." Yeah. He's like, "All right, well, ignore the body on the ground, men. Here's this statue of me I have lying around. Put it up so everyone knows I'm awesome."
He's like, "Put up my Jesus statue."
Yeah, put up my Jesus statue. I want this to be like Brazil. I want everyone to know that I will welcome them into my axe arms as long as they fear and obey me. We cut to Luffy using Gum Gum Rocket slingshot grappling hook thing to get to the top of the tower looking for the swords, knocking over the statue, which pisses Captain Morgan off. Helmeppo's there and he just like kidnaps him. Meanwhile, Kobe's trying to free Zolo, and Kobe gets shot. And he's just like there with the Oda mouth, like, "Oh my god, I've been shot." And then him being shot, it's like he's fine now. Like he took is he 50 Cent? Like it's just like, oh, this is now just street cred.
It's just cool. Remember, in the world of One Piece, people are just really resilient.
I guess. Luffy finds the swords. There's 3 swords, and he doesn't know which one's Zolo, so he takes them all. We get a flashback to Zolo's past, where he's beaten by a girl. It's like pathetic. But then she's this girl Kuina, the daughter of Zolo's sword sensei, is crying because girls can't be swordsmen, and she's starting to get breasts, and breasts obviously stop your sword fighting ability. And apparently breasts make it hard to walk, so she falls down the stairs and dies.
Okay, so no, we'll come back to that. We'll come back to Zoro's tragic backstory as to why he is going to become the greatest swordsman ever.
Like, he makes this promise, like, I'll be the greatest swordsman for both of us, because they were going to both be the greatest swordsmen and then fight to see who was the best for real. But unfortunately, she got boobs, so she died. Because you can't sword and boob, and that's just the rules. I'm sure that there's more to it because of the way it cuts to, and then she fell down the stairs.
Nope, she just fell down the stairs.
There's got to be more. There's got to be some. She was pushed by someone, and that person is now Zolo's arch enemy. Something.
No,
nope, it'll be.
I'm going to tell you now. This is the only time we get to see the backstory, and she just fell down some stairs.
I'm going to choose not to believe you. I just
don't worry. We get in toward chapter 100. It cycles back around.
Okay, so in 100 chapters, I'm going to find out whether or not boobs actually make it impossible to walk up and down stairs. I'd suspected as much, but we'll see for sure.
I love Zoro's backstory so much because it's just so ridiculous.
We see that Luffy is invulnerable to bullets because everyone is going to shoot again at Kobe and Zolo. Everyone got from the top of the tower all the way down before Kobe dies of his bullet wound, and are going to shoot them all again.
He's fine.
Yeah, he's just got that 50-cent wound. And they're all about to fire when Luffy gun rockets back down and takes all the bullets. And he's like, yeah, I'm the best. And Zolo gets his 3 swords. 1 sword's not enough. 2 is too few. He uses Santoryu. 3 swords. Morgan identifies Luffy as a devil fruit user from this, and everyone remarks that it's the secret treasure from those seas. So I think, looping back around to our chapter 1 conversation, it seems like devil fruits are a thing people know about and where they're from.
They're like that urban legend where like a lot of people know about them, but like a lot of people don't know they actually exist until they see them. They're like, holy shit, they're real? Fuck. Okay.
Yeah. We see Zolo capable of talking with a sword in his mouth with absolutely no detriment. On one hand, glad I don't have to read dialogue where it's like like that. But on the other hand, just wow, impressive. The man is not bothered at all by having a sword in his mouth in terms of communication. And he agrees, well, you gave me the swords, I'm part of your crew, as long as it keeps me being the best swordsman. Luffy does the Gum Whip attack, which is a kick attack. I'd never heard of it before. I've always seen like Gum Pistol like going around. Even before reading this, I'd always heard Gum Pistol and all that, but I'd never heard the Gum Whip. So that just worth noting. I found that worth noting. And we get Zolo and Luffy posing like it's JoJo. And at this point in my notes, I had just noticed that Morgan has tiger striped pants. It took me till we're in my chapter 6 notes, and I just noticed that Morgan has tiger striped pants and a black vest, and that just can't be standard naval attire.
I mean, it matches the tower.
I guess.
Matches the base.
Oh yeah, the base was also weird looking too. So I guess this man is just all sorts of non-standard, unless stuff like this is standard, which the Navy's weird, yo.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, Kobe is taken hostage by Helmeppo, and I guess Kobe is like still channeling that gangster energy, and he's like, "Yeah, bet he won't. Just keep going, Luffy. Don't worry about it." So Morgan's is behind Luffy, about to attack him, while Luffy's like, "I'll save you, Kobe," and he's just putting his trust in Zolo to have his back. So Luffy punches out Helmeppo before Helmeppo can shoot Kobe. And Zolo, at the same instant when Morgan goes to take advantage, Zolo has Luffy's back and kills Morgan. And he goes, "No sweat, Captain."
So cool.
So cool.
So cool. And they do a cool pose.
Yeah, they do another cool pose. It's this, and there's the whole no sweat captain is like he's acknowledging Luffy as captain. And then like everyone's totally cool that Morgan was taken out. Like everyone celebrates. Luffy's like, we need to go to the Grand Line because apparently all the pirates are there. And it's like we're gonna need more crew. And the Navy dudes are like, all right, it was cool that you killed Morgan, but you can't stay here. But since Kobe wants to join the Navy and they don't let pirates join, even former pirates join the Navy, Luffy and Kobe set up this this scene to make it where they'll fight. So the Navy guys are, oh, you two are punching each other. Clearly this kid is not a pirate. And Zolo and Luffy just somehow get on a raft. And Kobe, even though they just had a whole moment to make it so that it's clear that he and Luffy aren't friends, so he can join the Navy, Kobe still salutes Luffy, and then all the Navy guys salute Luffy, and it's like, hey, reminder, this is technically illegal, so we're all getting punished for this. Aww. And that's where the chapter ends.
I do like how the new captain is just like, you have some good friends, Kobe.
Yeah.
Acknowledging that, like, yeah, they clearly, like, had a fake, not a fake fight. They did punch the shit out of Kobe anyways.
So I'm hopeful that with 1,000 chapters of One Piece between where I am and now and what's out, I'm hopeful Kobe shows up again. But also, I don't know, should he?
We'll see, man.
We'll see. I'll ask every arc, is this the arc Kobe shows back up in? And you'll tell me no, and I'll be sad.
Oh, we're going to cover, so soon there are going to be stories in the cover art, and so we get to see like what other people are off to, like in the cover of each chapter, right? There's like a little image and a little description.
Yeah.
So we might see Kobe again.
Well, maybe we'll see him again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've recapped the reading badly, and we've managed to even highlight certain scenes. Any scenes that you think need to be highlighted that I didn't go over during my recap?
No, you kind of covered all of it. I was thinking you were about to skip over Zoro's backstory, but you didn't. You covered it right as I was thinking, like, oh fuck, did you just skip over? And then you covered. I'm like, oh, never mind, we're good.
No, we've covered it in detail. We learned the important lesson that according to Oda, breasts make it impossible to hold sword.
Oh, that's wrong. Because just wait till chapter like 105, I think, is when a particular character gets introduced. That's brings up like what you're probably thinking.
Yeah, you've seen Mulan. You know, girls can sword just as good as guys. Sometimes.
Yeah,
better.
I've also seen the new Mulan, which is awful. We talked about this earlier. I'm not going back into this. Mulan bad.
Listen to the cold open that we definitely recorded.
We definitely record. I didn't record.
Yeah,
you recorded yours. You get half the conversation.
Yeah, you'll get half my conversation, and that'll be the Patreon reward for whenever we make a Patreon for this, which we probably won't. But you know, stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened. Like a podcast that's been going on for 3 years that I've made. It's still going. I don't know how. I don't know determination and willpower.
We'll get to that'll be a fun treat. But yes, girls can. We believe here at Sailing All Blue that even with boobs, girls can sword just as good as, if not better than, guys.
God damn it. Okay, so what are your thoughts on these on Romance Dawn?
It was nice. That's such an awful review.
It's nice.
That's like it was a very like opening arc. It still feels like we're in the opening and setup of everything. Like we're still getting used to who Luffy is and what he can do, and we're introducing some of the supporting cast. And that's not necessarily bad. There's a lot of series that I think they have slower starts, or rather starts that are a little more about the episodic nature of it and about setting things up. We're only 7 chapters in, which granted that's In real life, that's like 2 months of chapters, but we hit a satisfying conclusion on a story. We wrapped it up, and we have a call to the next adventure. So we'll see what the next adventure is.
I'm very excited to get to next adventure, which is called Orange Town. I think that this arc, the upcoming arc, you might enjoy because it's when we get to have Nami. Because the next chapter, chapter 8, is I think just called Nami. Introducing Nami is the
not enter Nami.
Not enter Nami, introducing Nami.
Because we had chapter 3, enter Zolo. So
yeah, but now we get Nami, which I'm super excited for because Nami is one of my favorites. I can't wait till we get to my like actual favorite character, and you better cry when they're introduced, or I will be mad at you. I'll be like, how could you? But you thought it was fine for these first 7 chapters.
I thought it was definitely decent enough.
I'm glad to hear that.
I'm waiting for it to really give me that I need to read the next chapter vibe, because I will say it hasn't given me that yet. I am still somewhat curious as to where we're all going with this, but I kind of know that right now we're in this phase of gathering the crew, and so I'm still curious as to where do we go once we get the crew. And I think like kind of what's pushed me out before is I felt like it took, at least for the anime, way too long for us to get a crew, and it felt like the series hadn't started yet because we didn't have the crew yet.
Yeah, and I think the anime, especially when it comes to Orange Town and Syrup Village, really aren't paced well, because you can always read these chapters way faster than watching them, right? There's not like those forced slow moments to just kind of keep up with anime and chapters to not get too caught up too fast.
Yeah, because you can read a chapter in a few minutes, whereas anime takes a while, and you have to, especially anytime it's dialogue heavy.
You mentioned at the beginning of the episode that you're still not super keen on One Piece. You're not like, super into it yet. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for you to be like, oh fuck, okay, I'm in. And I hope that moment is Arlong Park arc, because I've mentioned this arc to you before and how I love it. I love Arlong Park.
So yes, I'm still not super sold on it. As part of my contractual obligations, I am contractually obligated to go until you release me. So there may be a point where I'm going, oh god, I hate this, but we're still making this, which will be a very interesting podcast if we ever get to that point, because I'm going to have to still describe everything and talk about the story as if it's coherent.
Eventually you'll get wrapped up into it, especially the world building of One Piece. And we're already starting to see the little bits of it, right? Like mentioning, Zoro in chapter 2. And a lot of this is set pieces, right? We're getting those set pieces, especially in chapter 1. There's like a few little things there that'll slowly come together. And I do mean slowly.
Well, like I've finally heard of the Grand Line now, but that's about the only bit of destination I've finally gotten. Like there's still not really a good conception of the world, its scale or size or even organization. It's still like, are there nations? Like there's a navy, but a navy of what? Is that local to this country? And I know that the answers are out there. I'm just saying that at this point, those are still questions.
Those are your questions
as a
for
reader. You. Yeah,
which I'm so excited for you to like get because I just want to tell you, and I'm like, no, I can't do it. I
know, but back as a young reader in 1972 or whenever One Piece came out, these are the questions that we all have. In 1972, we didn't know what the makeup of the One Piece world was.
Yeah, I don't even think there was a world map yet at that point. I don't think we get that for a while.
I don't think there was a One Piece in 1972, really, but
No, there wasn't. 1960.
1960. There wasn't a One Piece in 1972, but there was in 1960.
Yeah.
What is this, like some Doctor Who BS? Do we just have some dark age period where One Piece stopped being created?
Yeah. There was only like one chapter, and then it just took, like 40 plus years till we got it
Yeah.
again. No, One Piece started in 1997. I think it was like the summer of 97. So it was like 5 when One Piece started.
That is actually much later than I would have thought. I would have thought it was much earlier in the 90s, especially with the early 2000. Like, I guess that does partially explain why the early 2000s anime was paced so slowly, because there was just not that much of it out even then.
Yeah, the anime and manga have been like almost tied for tide, which is why there's some really bad pacing. There's a lot of anime filler arcs, there's one filler arc we will watch. There's one that I will force you to watch when we get to that point, because it's really good. It's only like 2 episodes.
I'm smelling a bonus episode, so I don't have to actually do it on schedule. Yeah, we'll see about bonus episodes and movies and such.
Oh yeah, we'll have those bonus things for sure. Oh, for movies, we're gonna watch some movies. We're gonna watch Film Gold for sure.
Oh god, what did I get us into?
You're going down the rabbit hole of One Piece, sir.
All right.
So we covered your review, your thoughts, your reactions. Anything else you want to talk about these 6 chapters?
I guess one thing is with the action sequences tend to actually be over fairly quickly, which I was a little shocked by. But I guess when we get to longer action sequences, that's going to be also partly when certain chapters extend out. But I was just very interested that a lot of the action sequences and fights are over. They end fairly quickly. But I guess that's also to establish that Zolo and Luffy are stronger than most people, so it just takes one Gum Gum Punch to take out Alvida. It just takes a slice from Zolo, or a kick from Luffy to take out the battalion. Like that's really all it takes for them. So they're not drawn out sequences.
So far, the villains we've met, no one has opposed them. Right, like everyone fears them because they're big and scary and have big weapons.
Yeah.
So they probably can't even take a punch because no one probably wants to punch a lady with a giant iron mace, or a dude with a giant axe for a hand who's like super beefy, because you got to be able to carry your axe arm.
Well, see, everyone tries to punch him, but they're so distracted by the axe, they hit the metal plate for his mouth. And that's the first time they notice it.
They're like, when did you get this metal jaw? He's like, it's always been there. It's like the astronaut meme.
Yeah. Since when? Since always. Although I guess we talked about it. You mentioned it briefly, but when Axe tried to strike Luffy before Helmeppo took Kobe hostage, he sliced off like a fence with the axe. So he was shown to be at least like somewhat strong, more than just being able to blindside kill one of his own men. But so far we've seen Zolo has blocked like a million sword attacks, killed a dog, and one-shot a dude from behind.
I don't think he killed the dog, because we see the dog yelping in pain in the panel. I had to go back and look, and I looked up while we were talking.
It's a bloody gash. It's the same type of bloody gash that the dead crew member has. So,
man, if you put 1-to-1, oh no, Zoro's a dog killer.
Zolo the dog killer, and I'm going to bring this up next episode just to push buttons,
just to upset me. Oh,
because
man.
If I'm being forced to read this, you're being forced to be reminded of all the painful parts of it.
All the pain. I mean, and that's one of the reasons we're doing this. Outside me trying to get you into the cult of One Piece, you're coming at this literally blind, having lived with the hype from both me and everyone else. So you're going into this like knowing that there's hype, and you're like, I'm going to look at this for what it is, not getting into at least my hype.
Like, if it doesn't meet the super hype, at least from my opinion, that's not the same as it failing or being bad.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm just taking a realistic view of, all right, if I'm someone who's never read One Piece and someone puts this in front of me and goes, hey, you should read this, like they do with countless other things that people have me read or watch, just treating it the same as anything else and seeing if I get super into it, like other series that I'm super into. It's just that you've had to, buy my soul and, threaten my non-existent cats and other such leverage in order to get this to happen.
I'm just very excited for the next arc. So Matt, your homework is to read chapters 8 through 21. Gonna read a whole, 13 chapters?
8 through 21 would be about 13, yes. So that'll be about twice as many chapters as this episode was. Yes. So we'll have to get better about going faster through the recap. I promise. I promise everyone I'll be better.
Well, I mean, so this is all one story for Orangetown, and we're going to be getting some good stuff. We're going to meet another dog who's going to get its ass kicked.
I'm noticing a pattern here, actually, that's kind of disturbing. Is Oda a dick to dogs?
No. Dog is a good boy. Dog is a good boy. Oda, stop having dogs get hurt. All right, we're going to set sail. Let's jump back in our dinghy.
All right, so let's
set off to
our raft
Orangetown.
has a sail now.
Our raft has a sail now. We have a better dinghy. We have upgraded.
Yeah, can't wait till we get a real boat.
Let's set sail to Orangetown.
Thank you all for setting sail with us into the world of One Piece. If you like to keep up to date on releases and what the current chapter assignments are, be sure to follow us on Twitter at SailingAllBlue. And we'd like to give special thanks to my good friend Birdie for composing our wonderful, amazing intro. To check out more of Birdie's amazing music, be sure to follow them on Twitter at HeyIt'sBirdie and check out their works on Spotify. I'm a big fan of the album VIMP. Links to